Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and she cheated on me and left because I played too many video games. This is a Reddit topic that I've seen come across my Reddit feed time and time again, where there are individuals who enjoy playing video games. They play a lot of video games throughout their day and throughout their week. But what happens is they wind up neglecting their loved ones. They wind up neglecting their friends. They oftentimes wind up neglecting their partners, sometimes their children, and they allow themselves to become isolated in this world of gaming. And sometimes when you're so wrapped up in games, you won't realize it, but you could be losing the ones closest to you because you're so wrapped up in video games. And I've seen so many of these Reddit stories where you have these users who are asking the readers how they can go about repairing their lives after losing someone that they love because they played too many video games. And, a lot of gaming oftentimes leaves your partner neglected. They feel like you're not showing them enough time. Maybe you're not showing them enough attention. And they're not always going to make a big stink about it. Sometimes they might subtly ask you to put the game away, or hey, can you turn the game off today, or can we do something else besides playing video games? And if you're not picking up on those subtle cues, after a while they'll just stop saying anything and move on. So I think that there's something that gamers can do to kind of mitigate this from happening. And while one of the easiest things to do is pretty much just limit how much you spend or how much time you spend gaming. That's one thing that you need to do. You have to set parameters for yourself. But I think another thing that you can do as a gamer is include your loved ones into your gaming experience. Include them in the hobby. And there are so many games that make it possible for you to include not only your partner, but your children, friends, family into this amazing hobby of video games. And I'm going to showcase some games to you here on a Friday night that you can use to incorporate your friends and family into gaming, so that it's not something that you're doing by yourself. And perhaps one of these games they might find fun too. Now I'm going to show you games across a number of different platforms, across a number of different generations, but all of these games will have a little bit of something different that hopefully you or your family or your friends will enjoy. The first game we're going to start off with is one of my favorite co-op games. I actually have this downloaded on the Switch because the Switch is the main way that I've played this game. But this is called Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. If you've never heard of this game, this is an amazing game where this ship that you're looking at, you have to basically steer and control this ship with all the players in the game. So let's say you have 4 players in the game. One person has to control the thrusters. One person has to manage the guns. The other person has to activate the shields. And basically, as a team, you have to work together to steer the ship, obviously battle enemies, and take down bosses. And this is an amazing game because it forces you and all the players to not only work together in real time, but you have to communicate. So, maybe you don't want to control the guns, and maybe you want to control the thrusters, or maybe you want to steer the ship because someone has to steer the ship. You have to really communicate with the folks that are playing this game with you throughout the game to be the most effective at steering and controlling the ship, to be able to, kind of make your way through the enemy territory and beat the bosses. And this game just truly exemplifies teamwork. And this is one of the best couch co-op games that I've ever played. Once you really get into it, it gets really fun. And because everyone has a specific role that they have to play, everyone is vested in the game. Everyone's interested in winning. And I don't think it becomes overwhelming for anyone because each person is only controlling one function of the ship. So if you've never heard of Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime, I definitely recommend you check this game out. It's a blast. It's a ton of fun. I played this a bunch on the Switch, and I kept my PS4 copy sealed. It's a collector thing, but this is definitely a fun game. So check this one out. The next game that I would recommend you checking out is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, the anniversary edition, of course, because it has all the extra DLC. But this is just a modern take on a classic genre known as beat 'em ups. And this is just a really fun game to play. You can have a lot of players playing this game. This is a great game for you to incorporate your family into. There's a lot of characters that everyone will enjoy. Men, women, boys, girls. I think this is a great one for everyone. It's rated E for everyone. And it's just a ton of fun. It's a fun, quirky game with colorful, pixelated sprites. So kids will love this game. And if you're into beat 'em ups, I definitely recommend this one. Next up, I recommend any of the Mario Party games on the GameCube. I think the GameCube Mario Party games are just really great games to play. They're not super intense, so they don't require constant attention because they're not like a beat 'em up or like an action game where if you look away for a split second, you could lose a life or anything like that. These are like basically virtual board games, so to speak. That's kind of how I look at the Mario Party games. And they have some of your favorite and familiar characters, and I think this is something that a family can get behind. Everyone knows Mario. Even if you've never played a video game before, you are aware of who Super Mario is, and I think that appeal just makes Mario Party, all the Mario Party games, very relatable games and games that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So these are actually games that I'm going to be playing with my family over the holiday weekend. I'm going to be bringing the GameCube up so that we can all play these together. These are a ton of fun, and I definitely recommend you check these out. Now, the next game that I recommend is a classic, Mario Kart Wii. Now, there's a lot of different Mario Karts out there. Obviously, you have Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, which is 4-player. I think you can play up to 4 players on that. You've got Mario Kart 64. You've got Mario Kart Double Dash in the GameCube. You've got Mario Kart Wii. You got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Wii U, and then of course Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. But to me, there's something very special about Mario Kart Wii. Just something very addictive about this one. I think Mario Kart Wii definitely stands out, and there's a reason why it still goes for 30 to 40 bucks to this day. I feel like the blue shell in this Mario Kart is just so much more potent than the one you get in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and just the overall feel of the game is a lot different. I think if you're a person who has never played this game and you get that kind of like the wheel, I think they probably have one for the Switch too, but just the Mario Kart Wii just stands out as one of the better Mario Kart games in my opinion. I know a lot of people regard Double Dash as like up there as well, but in my opinion, if I had to rank them, I would say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, then Mario Kart Wii is right behind that one, and then Double Dash is probably behind that one, and then everything else just kind of falls behind. But if you're looking to bust out the Wii and get some Wii action going, I definitely recommend Mario Kart. And speaking of the Wii, while you're at it, you might as well bust out Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This is one of the most fun ways to get a bunch of people involved in high-octane, action-packed brawling action. Just like Mario Kart Wii, we've seen so many renditions of Super Smash Bros. On the 64. We saw Melee on the GameCube, which I think was the most brutal version of Star Fox that we saw. They nerfed him in Brawl. I don't know why, but Brawl, I feel like, was a really good balance. I know that no one regards the Smash Bros. Wii U version. I know like no one really cares about that one. And I feel like Smash Bros. I feel like the Smash Bros. Ultimate, the one on the Switch, I feel like there's so many ways for people to cheese in that one. There's so many cheesy characters in Smash Bros. Ultimate that it's almost a bit of a turnoff just with like how much cheesing can actually go on in that one. And if you don't know what the term cheesing means, I mean, there's so many characters that you can spam. I guess spam is the new way of saying that. There's so many characters where you could just spam the same move over and over again. And there's just so many like weird things that you can do in the new one. People have found so many weird workarounds to kind of just cheese you to death that it's not as interesting. I feel like Brawl had the best balance of just items, weapons, characters. It really was a classic. And if you're going to have the Wii out, you might as well play some Brawl. That's one that everyone can get behind. And then here's one that's truly for the family, Wii Sports. You don't have to go crazy. If you want to just do something really simple, everyone can get behind some Wii Sports. These are some of the most simple yet fun games, from baseball to bowling to boxing to tennis. I mean, it seems very simple, but once you put this game in and you start playing it, you see how put this game in with your grandma and see how competitive she gets with bowling. See how competitive people really get with Wii Sports. There's a reason why Wii Sports has always been expensive on the Wii, and it's because it just brings something out of people. The games are so simple that they just create competition, and this is definitely one that I would recommend on a Friday night if you want to get your family involved. Now, I'm going to speak more to my retro guys, my gamers of gamers. Here's one. If you have some gamers over, or even if you have some family and friends who are willing to kind of step out step out on a leap and try something new, Power Stone 2 is an amazing 4-player game that a lot of people can get behind. It kind of plays like Smash Bros. Brawl, where, it's just 4 players going at it and attacking each other. The difference is that when you collect enough Power Stones, your character can transform into almost like the Super Saiyan mode, and they have different special attacks that they can unleash. And the cool thing that I like about Power Stone, which sets it apart from Smash Bros, is that the levels move. So the levels aren't just stationary where you're just kind of fighting on a static or stationary level. The levels change. You're going through, 1 minute you're in a cave, then the next thing you're falling out of the sky, then you're surfing on water. There's so many moving levels that create other elements of danger and something to keep you on your toes, that I think Power Stone 2 stands out as a great group game. So this is one that I would definitely recommend as well. And now let's go a little bit more retro. If you're just looking for something simple, Cruis'n World. Nothing beats just a simple racing game. No blue shells, no red shells, no green shells, no mud, no stars, no boosts, none of that. Just straight high octane. Nothing beats a simple racing game. And I think on the N64, Cruis'n World is definitely one of those games that I think a lot of people can get behind, even if they're not gamers or not used to playing games. The controls in this game are so simple. Everything is so straightforward on this one that I think this is one that a lot of people can get behind and enjoy. All right, 2 more. Now we're taking it really retro. If you really want to go retro, Turtles in Time is definitely the way to go. Now, there's a lot of ways you can play this game. You don't have to get the original Kart. If you have an NES Classic, then there you go. If you have an SNES Classic, you can go to town and play Turtles in Time. But this is another great beat 'em up that I think you can enjoy with friends and family. And then let's say you don't want to go Super Nintendo mode, but you want to do a little Genesis. Streets of Rage 2, classic beat 'em up. I mean, it gets no more classic than Streets of Rage 2. And while this one is really just a 2-player game, this is probably the one that you can break out once all the kiddos go to bed and it's just you and your partner. Maybe you guys want to stay up a little bit later, take some extra time to get some gaming in, and rock out on some Streets of Rage 2. This is a classic beat 'em up. Probably top 3 beat 'em ups of all time, and definitely one that you and a partner can enjoy on a Friday night. But that does it for me. I just want to kind of give you guys some ideas and some things that you can kind of check out. If you're wanting to get your friends and family involved in your gaming activities, try not to isolate yourself. There's a lot of games that you can use to get everyone involved and enjoy a good Friday night. But that does it for me. It's time for me to take these upstairs and have a blast with the fam. I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.